Hello everybody, my name is Elton Searsley and I'm working for Think Big Analytics. Today I'm going to show you how to set up email SLAs in Kylo. So by default SLAs are not enabled in Kylo. To get them enabled it's very simple. All you need to do is go onto the Linux command line and SSH into your sandbox or whichever instance of Kylo you're using, whether it be standalone or on an actual cluster. Anyway, I'm already connected to localhost, so I don't need to actually issue that command, even though I just tried. So there's to enable SLAs, there's two files that we need to modify and then copy. Well, one that we need to modify, but two that we need to copy. Both of those files can be found in ls opt Kylo setup, and then we have plugins, SLA, email. Alright, so in this folder we have two files. We see there's Kylo SL emailer and there's SLA email properties. So for our first step, let's go ahead and VI or whatever your favorite command line editor is. Let's go ahead and open up that file, SLA.email properties. So in this configuration, we get to set up our SMTP server, who our host is, what the port is, and then pass in our username and password. In this case, I'm not using Google's normal SMTP server. I'm using Google's alternative SMTP server. This makes it so that I don't need to use TLS or do SMTP authentication. I guess there's some interesting things going on with my Gmail account that I can't actually enable TLS right now. So then once you get those settings worked out, you come down to SLA mail from. This right here is going to be who the from address is whenever you get emails from this SLA service account. And then down here, this is going to be your username, and then down here you're going to want to enter your password. I'm going to go ahead and put my password in on another screen so you guys can't see it. Alright. Now that my email properties file is set up, I can go ahead and chown, or actually there's one more thing I need to do before I do any copying. I'm going to go ahead and chown the files in this directory to be owned by Kylo users. I think by default it's owned by root. And now we can do the copy commands. First one being Kylo opt Kylo services plugin. Alright. So now we want to go ahead and copy this jar into the opt Kylo services plugin folder. And we also want to copy the SLA email properties file into the Kylo services conf folder. And I believe that actually, since I'm still logged in as root user, I need to change the ownership of both those files real quick since I copied them. Create a new instance both owned by root. So I need to do chown Kylo users conf SLA. Oh, my mistake. Okay, and now we'll do plugin Kylo SLA. Alright, So now we've configured our SLA emailer, and we've also moved the plugin jar into our Kylo Services plugins. What we need to do now is go ahead and restart Kylo, specifically the Kylo Services part of Kylo. Alright, and now with that restarting, I'm going to go ahead and tail the Kylo Services logs until we see that Kylo Services has successfully started. Usually Kylo Services restarts pretty quickly. It'll just be another probably minute. Alright, so Kylo Services is started. You know that because we get this message at the end of the logs. So we can now go into SLA email and load this page up. Now before, if you would have tried to create a new SLA email template, like we are now, so we go ahead and click on the plus sign. Before moving that plugin jar, you would have gotten a warning right here saying email plugins not enabled, that you need to enable it. Since we've now gone and enabled that by moving the plugin and setting up the configuration file, we can go ahead and set up a new email SLA template. Right, and then subject will be, let's go ahead and load example template. So this is what Kylo loads by default. So we have SLA violation for SLA name, and now we're going to say active. This is going to be our default template. Let's see if I can go ahead and email myself real quick. Looks like that worked fine, and then we'll go ahead and save. Alright. So now we have SLAs enabled, but we don't have any feeds that are using any of these SLAs. So let's go ahead and go into Feed Manager, go to Feeds, and then let's go ahead and, if you've been following along with my other tutorials, then you will probably have a couple of these feeds already set up in your workspace. I'm going to go ahead and go into this Restaurant Inspections feed, and now I'm going to go over to the SLA tab in here and do Add SLA. New condition, I'm going to say if the feed fails, test restaurant inspections, then send an email. And it's going to be this. Email addresses, we're going to do eltonseriously@gmail.com. And then here you can select which SLA you've created that you'd like to use. I'm going to use miss failed SLA. And then I'm going to go ahead and save this. Alright, so now if my feed runs and there's some sort of error, I'll get an error email. So let's go ahead and try that and see what happens. cd/var dropzone ls. Let's go ahead and make a file that says, which file is this feed expecting? It's expecting inspections.csv. Alright. vi inspections.csv, escape, right, quit. Alright, let's see if this pipeline fails and if I get debugged. That just gave it an empty file. So operations, jobs, running, restaurant inspections. Now this pipeline might not actually fail since none of the rows are malformatted, it's just that there's no data in the file. So actually let me change this and do just mess this file up real quick. actually trigger off a pipeline with this very invalid file. And then we go into jobs and see which jobs are running. Right. I have to wait for both of these executions to finish, so in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and look here in NiFi. One finished, the other one, this one should fail, so we'll see. And in case you're curious, the first execution finished already, the second one is should be in the process of failing right now. Oh, actually, poor data quality doesn't fail a pipeline in this case, I think, because that will all go be routed into invalid table. So actually, if I just delete this flow file, then that'll error the pipeline. I should get an email from that saying that the pipeline terminated unexpectedly. So let's just wait until this merge table finishes, and we'll see that. We can see it's still executing because there's a processor icon right here, the little 8 circle cube with a 1 next to it. That means this processor is currently executing a process. So we just have to wait for that to finish. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and do MDQ. And now if we look in the Kylo UI, we'll see that feed was failed. And now if, go ahead and check this for NiFi SLA. We have an email right here. Oh, no, this is not quite the right one yet. Oh, yeah, that was the right one. Here it says 30 something here. Okay. So there's that. And now we can go back to NiFi Kylo. We can go to SLAs. Feed failure notification. This SLA was created and sent. You can see that here. Successful. Okay, that's it for setting up SLAs and attaching them to different feeds. If you have any more questions, please post them in the comments below, or reach out to me at elton.searcy@gmail or eltonsearcy@terradata.com. All right, thank you.